Hello and welcome to Dice Punks, a tabletop role-playing podcast where we focus on playing full campaigns in less well-known systems. This week, the Frontispiece Four attempt to locate a missing friend, but nothing's ever easy, is it? Hello and welcome. I'm Adam, your friendly neighborhood game master, and joining me are...
Hey, I'm Drew. I'll be playing Cato, reluctantly a major employer to the community here on Grand Cross.
Hi, I'm Robin, and I'll be playing Cal Armitage, which is Frontispiece's loss prevention specialist to you.
Hi, I'm Des, and I'll be playing Luke Byrne, or, the one who watches the ex-cop.
Hello, I'm Nick. I am a human podcaster, and I'll be playing Ing, an android drone operator.
Wow, Nick
Thank you
Lordrop.
for specifying there. I
don't know identifying information private, dude.
I don't know why my brain would do this to me, but Des, when you were saying watches the ex-cop, my brain auto-filled watches the X-Files.
Is there a difference?
Maybe not.
I mean, I thought you were going to go with watches the ex-cop, which is a very different thing.
That would be quite different. Well, thank you for those introduction players. Let's get right into it with our recap of last time, this time courtesy of Cal.
I guess it's official. I don't have to see you anymore. No more check-ins, no more tight little nods when I manage to talk instead of dodging your questions. No more gentle redirects pushing me back towards the heart of this practice, where I was supposed to be talking to Maddie. But I was always talking to you. That was the thing about seeing you. It made me keep track. Even if it was just a mental tally, a small sense that I'd have to answer for how I'd been doing. Now I'm supposed to keep that score, and I'm not an impartial referee. Ramirez was that for me too. Laughter over his beer and my tonic water when I needed it. We'd worked together longer than most people survive in this line. And when I couldn't be there for Maddie, he was. Now he's yet another ghost in the room. Another unanswered series of texts and calls. The bounties I collected didn't fill the hollow like they used to. Maybe because I was more hands off. I used the cash to trade in the bike, the last piece of badge life that I was still dragging around, for something louder, faster. A motorcycle that doesn't have sirens or codes, just the hum of the engine and a little more road between me and the past. Freedom I'm not sure I've earned yet. Picked up a sticky shocker too. Something that Ing might approve of. In any case, it's something to try after my bullets failed on my last target. The frontispiece, namely Cato, unconventionally hired me on as security. This is likely in need at this juncture, considering that Joseph and Law Zero is inquiring into our interactions with the Dreamers, and I kicked the hornet's nest by setting Sean Howard and Max Broderick at each other's throats in a satisfying fashion. But it's an interim gig to pay the bills, keep the lights on. Not a long-term plan, just something to tide me over until I figure out what the long-term plan is. Feels strange working for one of my kids. Never thought I'd be taking orders in that particular chain of command, but here we are. Still, it's safe. And I've been trying to let myself believe that safe can be enough. Then Apatia's message came in. The kind you don't have to open to feel in your gut. The kind that starts with a string of random keys, panic pressing down hard enough to break syntax. I didn't have to read the full message to know she was in trouble. Trouble I could name. Something's outside of her place. And if it's the same something that's been circling me and Ing, I've lost enough to know how that story ends. How my trouble has a way of hurting those around me while my luck keeps me fortunate enough to wake up in the hospital room alone again. And there it is, that old pool, the one that says go, get between the threat and the people I can't lose, won't lose if I'm the one lost. You'd probably ask whether I'm acting out of duty or guilt, whether I'm running toward danger or running away from the people I'm still figuring out how to keep. And I'd tell you, there's no difference. The flicker of a thought, unwelcome but stubborn, that my motorcycle has a vacant seat. I shove it aside. It doesn't fade like it's used to. I'm already moving, even as they talk about plans in the back of the frontispiece. A twist of the throttle, and I'd be fast enough to get there first. But the thought lingers, whether I want to hear it or not. Maybe, just this once, I'll let it in and hesitate.
If we keep this podcast going to the heat death of the universe like we intimated we would last time, I shudder to think how much processing silence I'm going to need after the recaps in another 3 billion years.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was an excellent and affecting recap. We rejoin the Frontispiece Four, Cal included, as well as their associates minus Apatea, in the back room of the Frontispiece. We sort of interrupted the beginnings of executing a plan to look into what has become of Apatea here. The last thing that we had sort of floated was getting in touch with Joseph Chapek and or Dev Random about Apatea, since you all last saw her at the Canny Valley. But otherwise, we are, assembled and, pursuing ideas and making plans. I suppose the thing that I kind of want to interpose here at the session break is this at least feels to me like it's likely to take on the shape of a mission. Whether as how much time you want to devote to prep is up to you, but this feels like shared purpose planned and executed. So I suppose if you have thoughts on whether or not it would count, or whether the sort of stated objective should be something other than locate and secure the safety of Apatea, this is the time to sort of discuss that out of character with me. Thoughts?
How long does prep take?
1 day per personal, 1 week per group.
That is so much.
That is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
My vote's against.
Against as well, although I think that it would evolve from one to another in a way that the system kind of forces into categories. Like, the immediate response would be like, not let's prepare to go rescue Apatea. It would be like, can we find out where she was? And if so, let's go there now. And if not, what can we do to affect that as immediately as possible? And if that takes a day, okay, that's terrible. Well, let's take the day. If it takes a week,
this is a place where the structure of the system feels like it works against the immediacy of the need.
That is kind of why I brought it up, though. right? Like, this is an example of a thing where you are essentially undertaking a mission with extreme time pressure, putting you at a disadvantage mechanically. Right?
If we go to her last known location and she's not there, that's when I think it'll become a mission.
Very well. I will table that until it comes up again then. Had to consider exactly the order of events there, but yeah, we'll bring it back up when it's relevant. So, you are all in the back room of the frontispiece. Take it away, players.
I'm sorry, first a clarification. Do I remember you saying that we don't know where Apatea lives?
You do, specifically.
We do. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cal was able to use the name that Apatea gave you. Turns out it's her government name, and you have an address not too far away in the Uhuru district of Turing Ward.
Thank you. All right. Well, now that we all gathered, let's go. I mean, obviously be careful, but time is of the essence.
I'm already half out the back door.
Yeah,
I suppose
I take the taser and I'm there as well.
If there's room on the back of the motorcycle, I'll join you. Otherwise, I'm taking public transit, I suppose.
I pause, almost give you what can be described as a exacting glance. Yeah, there's one seat on the back. I can take one.
What are the modes of transit that Bronway and Tama have?
Tama typically walks everywhere, even if it's
and
like
Gorister, I
station.
suppose.
Yeah, Gorister's staying put.
Well, yes, but he may have. If he has transit, then we can borrow it.
Oh, no, he doesn't have a vehicle.
Okay.
And Bronwyn uses the rail systems. Typically, if it's a like a bus range thing, she walks. A lot of people do. Grand Cross has some buses, but mostly people use the rail and then either like scooters or rollerblades or shoes or hoverboards, as the case may be.
Yes, but not everyone can be that cool.
Only select youths. It's true. And for what it's worth, the Uhuru district is on the same like plate that Selden district, where you all are, is on. It's, like one over and one up, if you'll forgive the abstraction. So it's not a disaster to hoof it, even if it won't be quite as fast as a motorcycle.
All right. Ben, if you're along for the ride, I suggest that you ride with Cal. I'm too heavy.
I think I'll be more effective monitoring things from here in case she's not where you're going.
I assume
That
she's
is a
probably not.
possibility. Yeah.
Whoever rides with me needs to decide quickly, wear a helmet, and hold on tight.
I'll throw out there, in terms of just sort of general setting knowledge, Ing would certainly know. I feel comfortable saying Cal would certainly know. Uhuru District, insofar as it has a reputation separate from the rest of downtown, is known for Android services and being kind of a flashpoint for Android rights activism.
All right. I'll send my drones with Cal, and I will start sprinting.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you go pretty fast, and it's not like you get tired out. So, is anybody among our player characters riding with Cal?
Kato. helmet.
Sure. Yeah. You have a spare, I assume.
I produce it out of the motorcycle, kind of side saddles with a very stern face.
Mm-hmm.
With a little bit of reluctance that my head is more regularly shaped than maybe I'd been picturing it, I put on the helmet.
Fixable problem, but then
It
get
is.
you a custom helmet.
That is unless Ing would rather...
I think Ing's gone.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ing's running.
I say
Yeah.
to the Ing-shaped dust cloud. Yeah.
Seeing pause for a moment, I give instructions through my kind of drone console, whatever I've got there, to give the swarm instructions to protect Cal.
Mhm.
And then I keep sprinting.
Yeah, and they, use their autonomy to gather around as they see fit, and do their best to keep pace. Byrne is staying behind. Ing is running. Cal and Kato are on the motorcycle. Bronwyn notes that she is going to, rather than hustle to location, start doing, more like social investigation stuff. Gorrister is staying put, mostly silent. And Tama just notes that she'll meet you there. And so all are off. And in one case, literally, in other cases, figuratively running. What a nightmare of syntax that was. So those who are going. And Cal, you drive your motorcycle in the direction of the address that you found in Uhuru District, with Kato behind you and Ing's collective, sort of occasionally visible in your periphery here and there. And Tama takes off at a rapid saunter, and Bronwyn splits in her own direction. Gorrister keeps on keeping on in the back room of the frontispiece. Ing, you are running. You run a little ways, and a couple people, that you've been like acquainted with in the area, sort of like give you a little wave as they see you run by. Androids running long distance full tilt is not exactly uncommon. It's actually a relatively common gig work job for androids to do messenger or courier assignments in this manner. But shortly after you see Sim sort of like wave at you from the door of the restaurant, Izakaya Po' Boy, just kind of jolly neighborly little wave. You spot just ahead of you the unmistakable figure of Mr. Snuggles, who sort of sees you and gives you a quick wave and then starts kind of sauntering to jogging to running beside you.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a lot easier for androids to converse while running because no lungs. So he just very casually goes, "Where's the fire?"
Friends in trouble.
Fuck. Well, that's no good. Can I help?
I mean, there might be trouble for us too when we arrive. But as far as I'm concerned, the more the merrier.
Well, and I love both more and getting merry, so lead the way. Maybe fill me in a little as we run, but I like trouble. Well, trouble likes me.
Sure. A little bit of good trouble's a good thing. Yeah. So I fill them in a little bit on the specifics of this specific situation. That we're going to find a friend. That friend sent an email indicating that they might have been kidnapped or assaulted or God knows what. And it's okay to join the next one. I'll see you in the next protest if, this is more than you want to take on today.
While you are talking, so I neglected to mention, but part of the reason why the figure of Mr. Snuggles was unmistakable is because they're still wearing the lacy unmentionables ensemble or maybe it's a different one. You'd have to cross-reference to be sure.
This is something
But,
about me and or Mr. Snuggles, but I assumed.
I figured probably most people would, but I wanted to make it clear. While
It's
you
good
are
exegesis for people who may not be as presumptuous in what they assume robots. Well,
not as
androids
not as Snuggles pilled as I am. Yeah. So.
Now in my head, your full epithet, Drew, is just Drew, Snuggles pilled.
I was
Blue
gonna
sky
say,
handle change and
I'm dropping a pin right here in episode audio. Remind me to talk about the origin of Mr. Snuggles as a character when we get to the peaks. This is going to be a fun one for me. I don't know about you guys. In any case, while you are running and Mr. Snuggles is running kind of to one side of you and just a little bit back, and you're sort of talking, filling Mr. Snuggles in, they just start without like slowing down at all to take their lacy unmentionables off, leaving just bare chassis, which is one of those things that's like somehow kind of like less attention like getting and lascivious to be just bare chassis than it is to be wearing just underwear.
Mm-hmm.
Without being prompted for any particular explanation, in sort of a pause in your explanation, Mr. Snuggles will supply, "Don't want to fray anything with all of the rapid movement," and gives you a sort of very easily recognizable Android chassis version of a wink, where the sort of lights that draw attention to the eyes on many Android chassis models, one of them just kind of like flickers briefly while the other one stays lit, and you carry on running to the destination that Cal had shared with all of you. So in probably around about the same amount of time, Cal and Kato, y'all will get there a little bit, like, let's call it 2-3 minutes before Ing and Mr. Snuggles get there. But you pull up on the motorcycle outside of the building that you have a number for in Apatea's public records, and it's sort of a mid-size apartment building with a couple of business spaces on the first floor. The first thing you notice about it, though, is that it is, to all appearances, entirely disused. There are no businesses in the spaces on the first floor and no evidence of anybody living in the upper floors, though it's clear from the way the windows are laid out and what you can see through them that they are, in fact, intended to be residences.
Is there a particular door address, or is it the address for the entire building?
You have an apartment number on the 3rd floor, which is the second from the top.
Okay, I'm going to make my way there. As we're ascending the stairs, presumably, I'm already pulling out the sticky shocker. I tell Kato, "Hey, I'm going to clear the room. Wait until I say it's clear." And then I kick open the door.
As they have been traveling, I have been sort of attempting in real time to suborn cameras to keep sight on everyone.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a hacking roll for that.
Sure.
For our listeners, that is +3 clever, +5 hacking, so 2d6 plus 8.
Den sent me a birthday die tray.
Oh, awesome.
It is a cat.
Oh, it's so good.
Adorable.
It is fairyist.
I love that.
Specifically. I adore it.
Yes. 9, so 16?
I believe 17, or at least according to the sheet that I'm looking at. All right. So I'm not going to require a ghosting here. You're not really like doing anything particularly like risky here. You are able to, not perfectly, but generally, sort of have eyes on the parts of the route that they are traversing. Though as they approach their destination, the best you can do is sort of a intersection camera almost a full block away. You can just make out movement in front of the building where they are getting off the
I
motorcycle.
do mention this at least to Cato.
Very well. So Cal, having heard all of those intentions there, getting off the motorcycle and kind of readying the sticky shocker going in, there is one of those sort of like walk-up doors, right? Like with buzzers and stuff at the bottom. It is locked.
Oh, it's one of those buzzer doors.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Is it networked?
You know what? I hadn't thought about it before, so in order to be fair, I'm going to roll. And on a 4+, the answer will be no. So just give me 1d6 and sort of do a d6 coin flip. It is not networked.
Damn.
I hit the number for the is there a camera on it?
No.
I buzz a different room number.
Mm-hmm. So the buzzer plate has the room numbers on it, but none of them have names in the little cards next to them. So you buzz one at random, and in the first 30 seconds, there's no response.
I buzz another one.
Still no response within 30 seconds.
What type of door is it?
I'm glad you asked. It is a sort of, call it like fiberglass composite with a small window in it. It opens with a knob that seems to have a sort of controlled like deadbolt on it.
So breakable?
Easily. I mean, breakable for you, easily breakable for Cato.
Done sweeping?
To be clear, Cato, you are both still on the sidewalk outside of the building waiting to get in the door.
That makes it funnier.
It does, yeah.
I shrug off my jacket and hand it to Cato. We're going to have to crack a few eggs.
The small arm extends like a coat rack and hangs the jacket. The large arm whirs ready for egg cracking.
That was to protect your hand, for the record.
Naturally, yeah.
Ooh, I found that very funny.
I step back and let Cato break and enter.
I break so we can enter, yeah.
I'm genuinely not going to make you roll anything for this. You have that heavy work arm. You just like basically are able to crack the door off from the latch mechanism without really having to put a whole lot of thought into it, and access is secured. I
belatedly turn on my holographic projection armor.
You'll turn that on and head up the stairs. The flight of stairs ends at the first floor, and then there's a second flight. Well, okay. If we're being technical about it, the flight goes up to the second floor, and then there's another flight up to the third, another one up to the fourth. And the hallway with the apartments kind of extends to your right from the first landing. And immediately, going up to, there doesn't seem to be anybody in evidence. There's no sign that, these parts of this building are inhabited. But when you arrive on the landing for Apatea's floor, there are a half dozen people sort of like sitting in the hallway as though they are students waiting to get into a locked classroom. They all look at you as you arrive on the landing.
Clear out. This is under investigation. I put on my best cop voice.
I'm gonna actually get a roll from you here for funsies. Looking at your character sheet real quick. Let's get. Oh, I like Bounty Hunter for this one. Cool plus Bounty Hunter, which is 2d6 plus 5.
I got a 6 and a 3, so 9 plus 5 is 14.
All right. I'm actually going to roll for the person among them who is going to be taking point here. So here is this wonderful dice canister I got from Den. Love that sound. So the nearest one to you, as you sort of say this, is a young man. You're not sure exact age, but that's partially because when he stands up and faces you, he gives you like an almost like physically palpable sense of looking like Maddie, just with like a different hairstyle and a somewhat darker complexion. The clothes are nothing alike. He is wearing what you kind of associate in sort of like dim recollections with like Hare Krishnas, but in sort of like a matrix code green. But he faces you and stammers. What are you investigating?
The safety of this facility. There may be an assailant here, and you are all in danger as long as you hang out.
The people in the hallway all kind of look at each other. And the fellow who's addressing you turns back to you and says, Why would you think that?
We received a call expressing the threat.
I furrow my brow. I nod gravely and largely.
you do certainly do that. They all sort of like glance at each other again. And the longer you're here, the more you can see that while this fellow is the only one wearing robes, they're all wearing this green color somewhere on them. And, more and more they're getting to their feet and just kind of standing, right? They're not doing anything in particular, but standing and facing you. And the fellow, sort of turning back to you says, well, I think there might possibly be some kind of misunderstanding here. Are you... He pauses with palpable uncertainty, glancing to his companions for reassurance, and then finishes, are you looking for Mistress Apatea?
Yeah, who are you? What's your name? And what business do you have being here?
Oh, I guess I didn't realize that. He gives you like a very awkward and uncertain bow, as though he's not entirely sure if that's what he should be doing, but he was already doing it anyway. And he says, well, we are Mistress Apatea's disciples, and we were awaiting her return. You see, in the small hours of the morning, God called her to his side, and she left with him, but she told us that she would be back. And it had the sound of prophecy, so I certainly don't expect her soon, necessarily, but I'm sure she'll be back. I mean, she said she would.
Who did she leave with?
he looks genuinely confused. I told you, God.
You're going to have to be more specific than that.
Oh, right. He shakes his head. Sorry. Before he continues, he pauses and looks thoughtful and says, I'm all out of order here. Would you mind telling me who you are?
Yes. What god did she leave with? She reached out for help.
Oh, that's... He turns back to his companions, and they sort of have what seems to be sort of like a relatively like a conference via expression, I guess is the way that I would sort of express what you see take place here. As this like facial communication conference winds down pretty quickly, the whole thing took less than 30 seconds. A young woman with curly hair and a sweater in the same green but just normal blue jeans sort of stands up and moves to stand almost beside but just a little bit behind this fellow. And they sort of turn to face you, and the fellow says, well, my name, my true name, he raises his chin proudly, is Canrad, and I am Mistress Apatia's first disciple. And he gestures broadly to the young woman standing to one side of him, and she inclines her head and says very gravely, I'm going to try to bring it across in my performance, but, we'll see. She says, and I am Kowal. I am Mistress Apatia's second disciple. And she gives
I
you...
need legal names.
I'm going to rule that laugh is actually their response. They sort of... And Canrad shakes his head and says, we don't have them.
Are they blocking my path towards the door that I know is Apatia's?
Not fully. You'd have to sort of push past them, but they're not barricading the space.
I'll do just that and start knocking on the door.
Mm-hmm. They sort of turn to follow you. Kato, are you staying where you are, or are you following Cal?
I think my main goal is to make sure no one runs off. So
okay.
I am looming wherever I am blocking the exit, with my arms crossed bouncerfully, and conveying these names, aliases, holy names, to Burn via text to see if they ping anything interesting.
I am checking these names.
As far as you can tell, they just don't appear in systems. These are not names that have been used in computerized space, period.
I ask if they can, if Cal can, not Cal, if Kato can get me pictures.
I can probably fairly surreptitiously do that, or at least I can try. So I try.
You will have better luck being surreptitious than somebody who's not full-body prosthetic cyborg. It is as simple as, using your eyes and your internal storage and then copying the files into the messaging system and, hitting send. So let them try to stop you, I guess. They don't even realize you're doing it, so they don't even attempt it. Cal, I
make sure to have a series of strange looks on my face so that the look on my face as I'm focusing the photo is just one among many.
You're pretty sure they don't notice. But hey, you took the precaution, and that makes you feel particularly crime accomplished. Cal, you sort of, move past them, and they don't try to stop you, though they also don't give way. They seem a little indignant, but they don't say anything. The other four are still just kind of sitting, although they do draw their legs in so that they're not stretched out across the hallway. They're now sort of pulled up in front of them, or in a couple cases, sitting cross-legged. You go to the door that you have for Apatea, and knock, and there's no response, and Conrad
I
says,
kick it open.
"There's no one." Don't do that. And the door is now open.
It sure is.
Inside, you see what is definitely a squat. It's kind of amusing, actually. Usually if somebody was staying somewhere that they did not have, legal right to stay, they would, not put it in the system. But Apatea is not most people. And so, yeah, has her squat in the system. You can tell because it's very clear that it doesn't have utilities connected. Is essentially camping indoors. Now, Ing, you and Mr. Snuggles have arrived at basically this exact moment. You see the door broken open, and can proceed inside at your leisure.
All right. Yeah, I do so. Kind of eyeballing the people at the entrance oddly, but then continue on.
I mean, they're upstairs in the hallway.
Oh,
not
they
at the very entrance. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
So
at the
you arrive on the landing behind Cato with Mr. Snuggles in tow. Mr. Snuggles, upon seeing the door broken open at street level, says, "Oh, looks like my kind of shindig." And then when you arrive at the landing, says, "Oh, of course it's a cult." And that puts you on the landing just after Cal sort of like moves in through the doorway. You said you were going to clear the rooms, and it is very easy. There are only 3. There's a combination sort of entryway, living room, kitchen, dining room. Then there's a small bathroom and what you assume to have been intended as the bedroom, which is covered in bedrolls, but no actual furniture. There is a window, just one, in the general purpose room that has like foil put over it, to cover it up. And no one inside. For a crowded squat, it's relatively cleanly, but that is grading on a curve.
Any signs of a struggle? Anything that would stand out to me as potential evidence?
Let's get a roll from you before I answer that question. This is going to be a clever plus investigation, so 2d6 plus 6.
So that is a 3 plus 6, which is a 9.
Okay. You could spend a day here getting into all of the tiny little details, but a 30-second sweep of the place suggests that there's been no struggle, there are no signs of forced entry, and another person might be a little embarrassed by this, but probably not Cal. A glance at the now broken door will show that it wasn't even locked.
Oh, well. I step back out in the hallway, look at Cato, say clear, look at Ing, and then Mr. Snuggles, who I don't believe I've met yet.
You have seen Mr. Snuggles, but you have not been introduced. Yeah.
And then look at Conrad.
Conrad.
What god did she leave with?
He furrows his brow and he says, "Well, the machine god."
I need a physical description.
He sort of chuckles. He says, "Of course you do."
Can I reiterate what that creepy dreamer looked like in the basement at this point?
You want to describe it verbally to Conrad? Yeah. So I'll refresh our memory here because it'd be fresher in Cal's memory than it is in ours. The Dreamer that you encountered in the basement briefly before hoofing it had sort of like a tall what's the word I'm looking for here? Well, certainly not exactly human. It had a head and shoulders and a torso and hips, but the head sort of protruded outward from a forward slung neck and ended in a mass of mechanical tendrils. The shape was kind of hunched. It had 4 legs of a vaguely sort of insectoid construction, and perhaps most notable, the arms are sort of like these flat, flexible kind of duct constructions that originate from kind of the shoulder base of the neck area out like directly forward and end in sort of like a set of 4 articulated but small grabby claws that could easily reach the floor from its shoulders. The description that you give when you describe it, you can see recognition playing on all the half dozen disciples' faces. So even Conrad seems to realize relatively quickly after you finish describing it that he's given the game away already. And he sort of sighs and he says, I don't know how you would have met the machine god and not recognized it for what it was, but yes, that is the machine god as we saw it in the incarnation that it presented to us, and Mistress Apatea went with it.
Willingly?
He furrows his brow and says, of course. She looked sublime in her peacefulness.
That's called hypnosis. I suggest you find another god.
He laughs. He says, there's no such thing as hypnosis. The other disciples laugh with him.
I've seen it before on her. It's not what she wants. And if you want to help her, you will give me a direction in which they went.
They all kind of look at each other a little confused, and Koal says, we did as we were told. We stayed right here. We don't know where they went. It is not for us to know.
She was trying to save you.
They again share a look, and Conrad goes, well, yes, that's why we are her disciples.
I rub my forehead and pinch the brow of my nose. And looked at Kato and Ing. She's not here.
I give Ohm a look as though to say, this might be your department.
Yeah. I'd say drones and basements is where I'd start. I'm open to other suggestions.
Matchstick, is there a basement?
Am I
entry
getting
near
a
here?
live feed of all of this?
You are at this point.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
And I
Otherwise-
asked that question out loud to the open air.
Yeah, no. That was more a matter of like I would have interjected at this point that I am searching through as many cameras as I can at the operative time that have views of the entries or exits of this building. And I am taking like the cameras being out at the relevant point as at least as good an indication of direction as anything else.
Okay.
It makes sense. And you have all the details to work with that we do ever since it turned out that the god that these folks worship is not the god of OPSEC. You've been getting pretty much a live feed of blow by blow.
Sure. So Burn, you have that traffic camera a little ways away. That's the best thing that you've got.
Oh.
And they definitely never came out of that door.
Are there... They didn't leave through that door. What other entrances or exits to the building are there?
Well, you
That's
don't...
stated out loud.
Sure.
I can go check. I do a quick reconnaissance of the rest of the building.
Yeah, you find that there are, well, not plural really, singular, there is a fire escape. Though the window in the squat apartment does not seem to have been opened to lead out to the fire escape. It is a little it's a little frustrating until you discover that the floor right above the retail spaces actually has a separate staircase down to those retail spaces, both of which have back doors into a brief alleyway, and one of which has a basement access hatch.
And presumably there are no cameras in evidence at any of that.
I guess, Cal, you probably would notice that there are security camera mounts in the retail spaces on the first floor, but the cameras themselves apparently were removed with whatever businesses closed down.
Yeah. I send a picture in the group chat of the mounts, and then I guess
if the live audio is going both ways, you hear a particularly teenaged growl.
All right. Start with the basement.
Start with the basement.
All right. During this sweep of the premises, Mr. Snuggles spends like the first 30 seconds just kind of standing and observing from the landing, but then goes to talk to the disciples in relatively flippant tones that seem to frustrate them. But by the time you make the decision to investigate the basements, Mr. Snuggles takes the opportunity of Cal's sweep of the building to approach these disciples and ask them a couple of questions, engage them in conversation. They would probably prefer that he didn't, though, because his opener as he approaches Kenrad and Koal is, so how many of you did she fuck? To which they recoil physically and look at each other with wild eyes, and then look at the other four who sort of look bewildered themselves. And Kenrad sort of stammers, well, who are you? What does that have to do with anything? And Mr. Snuggles says, well, I know a cult when I see one, and certain cults have quite a lot in common. To which Kenrad goes, it's such a crude way of, I don't know you any answers. To which Mr. Snuggles nods and goes, okay, all of you. I mean, good for her. You're all pretty cute. Why do you think the machine is God? And Koal answers, what? No. You wouldn't understand. To which Kenrad says, I'll take this one. So turns to Mr. Snuggles and says, There are many machines, but only a few that can affect the human mind. And God is the greatest of these. That is why she went willingly, because the alternative was to go willingly after having been influenced. One does not love God, one fears God, one obeys God. Such are the teachings of Mistress Apatea. She knew what she was doing. Whatever that mean lady says. Mr. Snuggles nods sagely and says, right, okay, so not just a sex cult, but a BDSM sex cult. I like it. You still taking members? To which the disciples all look at each other and go, Canrad sort of jumps in and says, probably? I mean, you'll have to wait for the mistress to return. I know that she located us here because she was interested in the cause of androids, but we don't have any as yet. Do you? Well, that would be an impolite question, sorry. To which Mr. Snuggles replies, oh, I've got a dick. I mean, not right now, but I can get it out of my nightstand if circumstances call for it. To which Canrad turns absolutely scarlet and Koal looks thoughtful. This
to every cult. To every cult, it's Mr. Snuggles.
This would probably make cults both funnier and fewer.
This probably gets us about caught up though with Cal sort of finishing their inspection of the premises and sort of calling for an investigation into the basements. I suppose that then puts the ball in our player character's court for how we go about that.
I mean, if it's up to Ing, it's not going to be a terribly organized search. Just kind of a dive into the basement and then go in pairs or singly, depending on how expansive it is and whether the basement joins the underlevels.
Yeah, that's the question: is do we do a let's split up gang, or do we?
We don't split up.
That settles that. I think we better get started, since these folks have taken on not knowing shit about shit as a cardinal virtue.
Don't even get me started.
I mean, it's unclear whether it's good OPSEC or just stupidity.
I can guarantee it's the latter.
Sufficiently advanced stupidity is indistinguishable from good OPSEC.
And there's the episode title.
It's too wordy, but I like the sentiment.
Sufficiently advanced stupidity.
Fair enough.
Speak Arthur C. Clown.
Oh man,
hard at that, but that was good.
It wasn't good, but it was it was there.
It caused me some physical pain.
That's okay. So I wanted a range of reactions, and I got all of them. I think we head to the basements.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Heading down from the basement entrance in the building, it takes about 60 seconds for it to become clear that, in fact, this basement space does connect to the general sub-level infrastructure of the station. And also that there's not going to be any really convenient way to figure out where Apatea and quote-unquote God went. It's dark and cluttered, but there's not like tracks or signs or anything. No eyewitnesses or in evidence. I bring this up because this is the point at which this project probably starts to become slightly longer term, Robin.
Is there anything breakable in a satisfying fashion?
Good question. I'm going to make a quick roll to give you how much, and how satisfying it is to break.
Seems like it should be 3 different rolls.
Well, I am an expert at reducing the number of rolls by vibing it out. If we've learned anything in the 107 at time of recording posted podcasts. We'll see when this one comes out relative to that. But if there's anything we've learned about me in that run, it is that I am really good at just taking a place where there could be mechanical depth and complexity and turning it into a feelings roll. So that is what I have done here. And
as opposed to a lasers roll.
Cal, the area of the basement that the sublevel of the specific building opens into has a relative profusion of disconnected and somewhat ragged lengths of wire and cable, which are pleasingly handleable, but not pleasingly destructible.
I rip them all the same. Maybe give the
Absolutely.
wall a punch for good measure.
It is moderately satisfying. So, at this point, I guess that you all could decide that, well, finding Apatea is not the most important thing on our plate and move on. But if you are still focused on locating Apatea, this is the point at which it becomes a mission.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
I feel relatively secure in my assumption that you're going to keep trying to find Apatea, but this is your opportunity to correct me if I'm wrong.
We're not monsters.
You are
We're
not.
going to keep looking for her. At this point, she could be in the bottom of the ocean again, for all we know.
So,
he is making a habit of this sort of thing.
Yeah.
the first
How dare
thing
she?
then that I need is for everybody to make a burden roll, as we are officially in a mission now. So that is 2d6 plus your burden. Those of you who are sharing expenses can average your burdens together, rounding down, before you add it to your 2d6.
Remind me what your burden is, Ing?
It's 1.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
Mine's 2 for the record.
And we want to roll high or we want to roll low?
You want to roll low.
Oh, no.
Dice went everywhere. Trying again.
I got a 9, plus 1 is 10.
Okay. 10 for
I got a
Kyle.
9 total.
9 for burn.
8 total for me.
8. Do we have
So
Ings
there's
yet?
10 on the dice, and then I've got 1 burden, so that makes it 11. Is that right?
Rounding down from your average with Cal, I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, I believe, and I'm double checking right now. Technically, we weren't rolling for burden; we were rolling for economic shock, which then is like checking
Related
against
to
your burden.
burden.
But you needed
functionally.
to hit a 13 or more to suffer from economic shock, so everybody's
good.
fine.
Okay.
Ing?
And we still roll even if we got 0 cash, right?
Yep. It is unrelated to your amount of cash.
Okay. Yep.
That was a close one.
So yeah, nobody suffers economic shock this time.
Nobody has suffered
Next
economic
time.
shock this campaign. Correct me if
Except for
I'm wrong.
Des.
Incorrect.
Hi.
Oh, that's right. That one time.
Yeah, he went missing and traumatized Cal.
I think Kato.
No, you know what? In character, I forgot that needed an impetus. That felt like something that could just happen.
That sounds like trauma.
I will not be unpacking that at this time.
Let's just not unpack things.
Yeah, let's just keep stuffing more in there, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, until we have to sit on the suitcase. It'll be fine.
So, let us then consider. We are in the basements with essentially no leads. Prep takes 1 day per personal prep and 1 week per group prep. What are we doing? If you choose not to prep at all, for the record, that's fine, but you won't be able to do anything that requires prep, right? Without any prep.
In the short term, I yell into the depths of the basement at the top of my lungs.
Fair enough. I'm going to say that at first, pretty much nothing, but after a few instances of this, you do get a gravelly voice faintly drifting to you through one of the corridors that says, "Shut the fuck up!"
I yell back, no. Get out of the basements.
There is no particular
You
response.
can't just
to
tell
that.
people to leave what is probably their home.
That's what I do for, well, what I did for.
Yeah.
Yes, and habits
Actually.
should change.
Mhm.
Well,
So-
it's yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, in terms of electing or not electing to do prep, we can take it in intro order. Kato, what, if any, prep are you going to do to try to find Apatea?
Yeah, I think I put out a cursory, a set of feelers to the Fixer network, but I think I am gonna spend a day doing prep in the form of really getting serious about that. Taking shadowy meetings if they're available, seeing if anyone saw anything, especially now that we have some data about what happened and when, seeing if anybody knows anything, and sniffing for clues. Yeah, that's
Okay.
it seems like that's what I'd be doing all day anyway. So I officially make that a day of prep.
Sure, yeah. And so that's definitely personal prep. Are you planning to do any of the longer term group prep?
That's a group decision. So are we comfortable saying Apatea has been missing for a week by the time we spring into further action? I feel
I
like the
would say
answer is
no.
no. Yeah.
Are the two mutually exclusive? Is it possible to basement dive, as it were, routinely while also doing prep and whatever downtime?
I mean, my inclination without further specification than that would be to say that the basement diving that you're doing while doing personal prep is your group prep, right? Like, if you wanted to take a full week on it. If you're not taking a full week on it, then my inclination would be to say, do a day of personal prep and then just go in without any group prep if you want to hurry, right? Like, that is the cost benefit thing that this is asking of you, essentially.
Yeah.
Mechanically, it's
I'd
like,
rather hurry.
Yeah, basically impossible, if not just narratively unlikely, that we're gonna like run into Apatea during that week in the basements. So, yeah, I think we have to skip group prep unless we're okay with this
Yeah.
situation staying the status that it is currently quo for a week, which I think we're in agreement we are not.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so focusing back in on Kato's prep here, you have a prep roll that you're going to make, 2d6 plus ability plus specialty versus 7. So you were putting in some time with your network, and for some reason I always have a really hard time navigating your character sheet. I think it's just because you don't have that many specialties comparatively. This feels to me like a clever plus criminal underworld 2d6 plus 5 roll.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
Go ahead and give me that roll.
That is a 9 plus 5. That shouldn't have taken me as long as it did, is 14.
14 is going to be a total of 3 personal prep.
Groovy. A day well spent.
Arithmetic, I can do it. All
Whee!
right.
Me too, just slower than you would expect, probably.
Cal, a day of personal prep for you. What does that look like?
I will be using my networks to figure out how a layout of the basement. Well, I'm going to use my networks to figure out how to track a god. Specifically, the one with the description that I have, looking at creepypastas online, trying to figure out how to lure that specific dreamer into my vicinity.
Okay. This sounds to me then like a clever plus investigation 2d6 plus 6.
I'm going to have to swap out dice. I rolled a 5 plus 6, which is 11.
11. So that'll get you... Oh, you know what? I think I may have misread this. 1 prep for your first prep roll of the mission. Success gives you 1, and then every 3 points you beat the difficulty by gives you an additional prep. So I think actually, Cal, here you get 3 personal prep, and Kato, you should have gotten 4.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, because I missed that. You just get 1 for making the roll, whether you succeed or not. I missed that part.
Okay.
That's good and kind.
Yeah. So
we might need it. So cool.
4 for Kato, 3 for Cal. Cal, I'm not going to get into it extremely deeply here, but in terms of looking into this particular dreamer, we will get into the specifics of what you may have found as it becomes relevant when you spend this prep. But generally speaking, it is virtually unreported. All of the very few sort of online accounts of it are from within the last 6 months. And, well, shall we say, the information they give is varied and potentially suspect, but you consider yourself at this point pretty expert in this particular dreamer as these things go. And so that's where the prep is going to, sort of come into it. Burn, your personal prep for a day.
Before we do Burn, one super quick thing. I forgot during my prep that I do have the talent Team Mom, which means that during prep, my first group prep only takes a day.
Oh.
I don't know if that means that we could do some speed run group prep. Maybe we go through personal prep first, totally your call GM, but yeah, just wanted to put that on the table.
Yeah. I feel like my inclination here is to say that if you want to take another day after the personal prep day that we're going through right now to do a group prep for you and everybody else can do maybe another personal prep if they want to, which does need to use a different specialty. I want to point that out. You can't reuse the same specialty in prep rolls for the same mission. But if we want to do that and take another day to get some group prep from Kato, then I'm fine with that. That is totally legit. But I think that we're going to not retcon anything at this stage.
Yeah, I think no need to retcon because this would be another day, right? And time is of the essence for this mission. So I think maybe we see how the personal prep rolls went and then decide if it makes sense to wait another day in exchange for having some group prep. And that's a group decision.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, Burn, personal prep?
I think I am going to look into general mechanical means of attracting dreamers rather than this specific one. Because, the other options include trying to wire the basements for surveillance if I'm not going, which would be useful if I am, which I will probably be. And therefore I'm not sure that's a useful approach, and the other involves the most recently added of my skills, redacted. So,
I guess what are you thinking for roll then? Attribute and specialty combination.
I mean, the problem is it's not squarely hacking.
True.
So I think dreadfully, the closest that it may apply is bullshit as a general being online skill.
I don't. I mean, it doesn't feel to me like a research skill exactly. But I'm not seeing, I guess, a better match necessarily.
Right.
Yeah, let's clue clever and bullshit, so 2d6 plus 5.
And that is a 10, so it becomes 15.
Okay. So
doubles if it matters.
For this, unfortunately, it does not really
critical
do
prep
in particular. Yeah. 15 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe.
Okay.
Personal prep here. In terms of like ways of attracting dreamers generically, they're basically, you have become comprehensive in your knowledge of what the internet says works, and also fairly confident in your ability to throw out the obviously bullshit ones. So there's not necessarily a guarantee that any given idea that you run with will work, but
Yep.
You've got the best information that you reasonably can have. All right, Ing, your personal prep.
I'd like to linger in the basements and just keep looking, but specifically what I'm doing for prep is trying to map out what I can of the basements using my drones.
Okay.
I'd like to also specifically instruct the drones, like, I'm not trading one friend for another. If you see or hear anything, immediately back off. Do not risk yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That said,
So,
I really appreciate your help. So, yeah, I would... No, go ahead.
I was going to say, as a role, that seems to me like a clever plus robotics, so 2d6 plus 6.
Rolled low, so it's 4 plus 6, 10.
Okay. So in terms of mechanics, that is 1, 2, 3 prep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 prep. And in terms of like using the collective to cautiously map out basement environs, they don't find anything super like specifically relevant in their mapping out, but you do have like a fairly detailed schematic of what you think is maybe even like an almost frighteningly close to complete map of the basements of Uhuru District.
Right.
You're impressed with the collective's efficiency in this regard. That does, however, tell you that none of the areas that you mapped within that are where Apatea and the streamer are.
Yeah. I relay this to the group in real time, even if it's prep.
Absolutely, yeah. It can do two things at once. Okay.
We can roleplay and prep.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I think that it would really pain me to wait an additional day, but we don't have the answers we need. I've mapped out most of the basement underneath this. I think that we can't move the timeline forward, and we need to take an extra day of prep. So if there's, we did a little bit of table talk off mic as well. I don't think that there's any objections to that, but speak now if you'd like.
No objections, sir.
No objections out of character.
Right.
In character, grumbly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's
I'll be
par for course.
I'll be using the team mom ability to do group prep during that day.
Okay. Well, then let's take it in intro order again. And, feel free to like throw in and add on when your turn comes up as necessary. But Kato, you're using the team mom here to essentially do group prep in one day. The main thing there is that you can't reuse a specialty, so you can't use criminal underworld for your group prep here. What are you doing for group prep, and what does that mean that you're rolling?
Yeah, I guess I'm open to whether this is gray market goods or cybernetics, but I think what I'm looking for is a dreamer countermeasure that might be less disruptive to those of us with machinic parts than an EMP would be. And if I can't find one, I'm buying an EMP.
Interesting.
And I said buying, but then I realized I have zero cash, so I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Fair enough.
Calling in a
Cross that bridge
favor
when we get
for,
there.
perhaps, yeah.
So that feels like it's probably
I mean, would you be getting small business cash?
not presently, no.
Okay.
Because of the accelerated timeline. Yeah, normally I would at the beginning of a mission, but I did at the beginning of this like period of time already.
Right.
So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we sort of fudged it a little bit there. So this feels to me like gray market goods is definitely the specialty to use. My inclination is that goes with cool.
That makes sense. I'm wheeling and dealing.
Right.
Yeah.
Regrettably, I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So
2d6 plus
+3.
3.
That is a natural 8, so 11.
So success gives you 1. 3 points over 7 gives you 1. So 2 group prep. Make a note.
I think I'm usually the one who keeps track of the group prep anyway, so I'll just do that.
Yeah. Come to
After
think of
all,
it, you
team
are.
mom.
Here's some orange slices and a Capri Sun
And an EMP.
and an EMP. So yeah,
If you're going to use EMPs, I'd rather you do it in the house, where we can all watch you.
Where we can all suffer the consequences together.
Yeah.
So I'm
we
not,
know how EMPs work for some of us.
I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty right now. I'm going to wait for us to use that group prep to sort of decide exactly what the outcomes of these actions were.
Fair.
But suffice to say that, you sort of look into your gray market contacts and you meet with, and you can quote me on this, some success.
Ooh.
Cal. You have a day for individual, personal is the word, prep.
I get my head on straight and realize that instead of concerning myself with something as foolish a concept as gods, I should be treating Apatea as my mark. So I would like to use bounty hunting and looking for anything traceable about Apatea's person.
Okay. 2d6 plus 6.
That is a 5 and a 2, so 7 plus 6 is 13.
All right. So 13 in this instance will give you 1, 2, 3 personal prep on top of your previous personal prep. So I will say, without again specifying anything ahead of time, because we do that when the prep is used, that you go through the process of essentially thinking through what is particular to Apatea and how you would detect those things. And we'll get into exactly what that means if and when you use the prep in ways that call upon it. Excellent. Burn. Personal prep. Day 2.
I am going to tap into one of my networks,
Oh, okay.
namely Redacted.
Uh-huh.
In as much as I am asking about the basements, does the basement dweller apply?
I will say that it does. You're going to be rolling cool plus redacted with your basement dweller bonus. So I believe that's going to be 2d6 plus 3.
Yup.
All right.
Because I'm not great at any of these.
No, it's fine. 3 is decent.
That is a 9, so 12.
Okay. So that's going to be 2 personal prep for you.
Mostly I am just very spoiled by my main roles.
Yeah, fair enough. So without saying too much, you at least have some folks who are going to contact you if any particularly relevant information happens to cross their radar. Then we will specify further when that prep is used. And Ing, second day of personal prep.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw some gasoline on this fire and
Hell yeah.
approach Law Zero with an opportunity, inviting them to join us in our search, rolling as deep as they care to. But Joseph Chepek had expressed an interest in dreamers. I'd like to approach them and say, hey, if you want to know about dreamers, we are chasing one through the basements, and we'd very much like your help.
Okay. I think that my inclination is to make this a cool plus android rights movement roll, since you're sort of appealing one android to another. So that is going to be 2d6 plus 5.
That's a 6 and a 3 on the dice, so 9 plus 5 is 14.
Okay. So that is 1, 2, 3 personal prep. Took me a second. Indeed. Yeah, so you get 3 personal prep from that. And in terms of the narrative here, Joseph Chapek is very intrigued by this. And as part of sort of your ongoing conversation, will volunteer sort of an internal heat map that they have put together for dreamer activity in the downtown area. And so as you use prep, we will see if you refer to that or something else. We'll bring it in as it is relevant, but that is kind of the concrete initial thing reflected in your success there. So you've spent 2 days collectively gathering personal and group prep for this attempt to find Apatea. Day 3, so to speak, Tuesday, rolls around. As various video games might say, mission start. Begin. Yeah, ball's in your court.
From any of our prep, do we have an idea of where to start?
I mean, not necessarily from your prep, but the obvious starting point is the basement network access from the building that Apatea left.
Didn't we get like an entire mapping of that area that therefore confirmed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you know some routes from that sort of retail space's basement into the wider network that definitely did not have Apatea in those places.
Oh, I thought you said that that Ing's bots had a fairly comprehensive map of the Uhura districts.
That's what basements. I was attempting to just say, yes.
Okay, it sounded like you were talking about routes from the small little basement preliminary area under the
all of
retail area.
Ing's drones maps start there, but they do have from there to almost each of the 4 edges of Uhuru district mapped out. Yes. Call it 85%.
And could we flow from there to another district, or there's
Sure.
a structural break where we can't get there from here?
No structural break, but that's as much as you've managed to map out in the time that you've had. So you can continue from there. You'll just be moving into less well-documented areas.
Yeah, that would be my vote.
I guess for the record, there are... Oh, let me make it a roll. 7 different points at which your map would transition from the basements of Uhuru to other parts of Turing.
Okay. Yeah, unless the heat map that I was provided would point me in a different direction, I would say that we start at the place that we suspect that she disappeared from and branch out from there. If there is a directionality that would kind of lead us to one direction instead of another, according to the heat map, then let's do that. Otherwise, flip a coin unless somebody's got a better idea.
Looking at the various sort of dangling ends of your mapping that your collective has done and comparing it to the heat map of dreamer activity that you have sort of kludged together, it seems like your highest probability plan would be to follow the both or one of the two sort of directions that would lead into Silicon District. This is part of downtown that is, and I'm quoting from the rulebook here, the station's own little Silicon Valley. Skipping down a bit, its towers are full of startups, incubators, tech companies, law firms, and expensive restaurants. This seems to be the highest probability direction for you to go in.
All right. Let's move up.
Sure. It sounded like you were not wanting to split the party earlier. So, you basically have 2 connections from Uhuru into Silicon. There's no information that you have to pick one over the other, but if you're not splitting the party, then you've got to pick one over the other to go through. I guess, what I'm trying to convey is that as a party, you don't have any particular information that would help you decide A over B or 1 over 2 or however you want to discern it. Which are you picking?
So between Silicon Valley and what was the other that you said?
No, they're both lead to Silicon District.
Yeah.
It's just there are 2 ways to get there, and there's nothing in particular to recommend one over the other. How are you deciding?
Unless anybody has a better idea, I ask Tran to pick a path for us. Trust your instincts if you have them.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I, as a person rather than a GM, also love this idea. You can, on the video, see me reaching out to hold my dice canister, so I'm going to just roll to see what Tran decides. So, Ing, you communicate that this decision is in Tran's... I mean, Tran doesn't have hands, but metaphorically in Tran's hands. And Tran goes perfectly still for about a slow count of 3, and then picks the downtown-most of the routes. This is towards the quote-unquote downtown end of the station. The plate you're on is on the downtown end, and this is moving sort of further in that direction. And I mean, it's interesting, right? Because Ing, you don't get any specific communication from Tran about this decision. Tran just takes off in a direction. And following Tran, you discover that you're going toward the more downtown end. I'll go ahead and just note that I don't think we specifically said anything about it, but unless the four of you prevent it, Tama, but not Bronwy, will be with you on this outing.
Okay.
We could use the extra muscle.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least potentially.
The stretch of basements that you traverse is relatively nondescript. Cluttered, utilitarian, signs of transient residence, but nothing to distinguish it. No set pieces, no landmarks for a little while. After, let's call it about an hour of following Tran, like you're definitely into Silicon District by now, you come to an unusually open space for the basements. This seems like it was probably meant to be some sort of storage or staging area that just hasn't really been kept track of or needed to be used for a little bit. Ing, you have the easiest time sort of correlating your under quote unquote ground location with the sort of surface location. And this largish open area is underneath a plaza that leads into a number of relatively prominent skyscrapers, and on the exterior hull of the station, a couple of relatively busy industrial centers. And Tran, upon arriving here, starts to sort of like slowly go in a circle. The impression you get is almost pantomiming like the little working wheel of our real world present day Mac OS, or like the little hourglass on a Windows system.
All right. Well, I'm not sure how to interpret that, but I wonder if it's time to go upwards or reassess.
Yeah, it seems like a dead end.
Adam, remind me how we can use prep, because historically we've used it to boost rolls, what have you.
That is definitely one way you can do it.
So I have a worse idea.
I'm always a fan of this. Out of character.
For part of my prep, I looked into more or less reliable means of attracting dreamers. I could use one of those.
You could. And we're in a wide open space, which indicates a boss fight. So go for it.
It is weird that we crossed through a fog wall when we got to this part of the basement.
Traverse the white light.
It's a bunch of ammunition and healing packs down here. Well, that's convenient.
These barrels are all red. So, do we really have reason to believe that attracting a dreamer would, is Apatea being held King Kong style by the dreamer? Would the dreamer lead us to Apatea? Are we just attracting danger?
I have no particular theory.
We could just track Apatea.
It just seems a thing to do.
You did say it was a worse idea. You did say that.
Fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should probably start by tracking the phone if we can.
Mm-hmm. Adam might be mildly broken.
A little bit.
So maybe start with attempting. So when I was looking for prep to essentially bounty hunt Apatea, can I flash back to finding something beneficial using my bounty hunting skill?
I am actually going to save your once per mission flashback for something else. Instead, I'm going to have you roll in this moment a clever plus bounty hunter. 2d6 plus 6 is your total there. And you can spend a prep here to boost a roll, which means that you add 1d6 to your total.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So total 3d6 plus 6.
Yeah, so my first roll of 2d6 was very good. It was a 9. My third
Nice.
d6 was a 2. So 11 plus 6 is 17.
You're correct. Yeah, so spend a personal prep on that, and combined with the information that you managed to turn up doing your sort of routine bounty hunter thing earlier and your inspection of the area here, you determine with a fair bit of certainty that one of the exits from this area has been used more recently than the others. There's no guarantee that this is Apatea or the quote unquote machine god, but also like it's as good a lead as any.
Yeah. I step politely into Tran circling, offer Tran a pat on the head, and then point to the exit.
Let me change tabs real quick, just for a second. For our listeners who may have forgotten, Tran is the drone that is Dragonfly-esque. You pat Tran, and Tran zips at... Well, you don't have a good way of estimating miles or kilometers per hour, but very quickly in that direction and disappears into the corridor. This is probably kind of encouraging to those witnessing it from the outside. Ing, as Tran does this, she disconnects from you and from the collective. This is the first time anything like this has ever happened.
Yeah.
I'd like to use my holographic projection armor to appear as Canopus.
Okay. For our listeners, there are several Canopi in this campaign, and in the system, frankly. The one that Cal is appearing as here is the conspiracy theorist, correct?
Not the one that showed up in Frontispiece. The one that
Canopus hear you?
Yes, Canopus hear you.
Okay. Fair enough. So that is then actually the Canopus is the real name of the person that Cal's holographic projection armor is appearing as. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cal, but using the holographic projection armor is free the first time because of your
2 times. I leveled it up.
Oh, very nice. I'm glad you let me know there. So you don't have to pay a prep this time. Or next time, for that matter, to appear as Canopus hear you. Ing, do you have any particular response or reaction to Tran going, if you'll allow the turn of phrase, off the grid as she pursues the lead that Cal provided?
Yeah. If I realize quickly enough, I just shout out, be safe.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you realize pretty instantly, so.
Yeah. I'll also, turn to my companions and just say, Tran's disconnected, fully autonomous from me and the swarm. Could be very good, but also could be very bad. Let's follow. And I start running.
Those are the 2 options. 2 of the 3, I guess. So Ing takes off running after Tran. I assume other player characters and Tama will follow. But if not, let me know now.
We did agree not to split up, and it's the best of all bad options.
All right.
Huffin
Everybody
just grumbling about running only while being chased.
I snort in your direction.
Everybody takes off.
Yeah, you're a cop. It's not like you run either.
All the time, in fact.
Weird.
I'm reminded of that, at this point, quite old Patton Oswalt bit about the camera people on cops being some of the world's greatest athletes. So, all in attendance take off after Tran. And you run at, let's call it just shy of a full-out sprint for about 5 minutes before Ing, leading the way here, you become aware of, well, Tran is still not in evidence, but a somewhat familiar individual seems to have been disabled in this. It's kind of a corridor, but like broad and with some interesting sort of shape to the ceiling. The individual that you come across lying just kind of sprawled just off to one side of center of this quasi corridor is the android chassis that 3 of you encountered at the rear of PSS HQ after it was exploded. Bird-like mask, red LEDs, black outfit. They seem to be unconscious.
I take off the mask.
There is a totally blank faceplate beneath. In fact, there is some circuitry peering through.
I nudge them, not ungently, with my foot.
No particular response. Other than, I guess, a slight of your foot nudging them.
I still have handcuffs.
Could we get that?
You
Could we get that sound effect again?
Boom.
That was very
Thank you.
satisfying. Thank you.
I tried to get a little closer to the mic this time so that it would not get eaten by our noise elimination algorithms.
I recreationally put them in handcuffs.
Cow,
Is
brat
that to
tamer.
distinguish? Is this to distinguish from doing so as a cop, or to suggest that you're doing it unprofessionally?
It brings me some satisfaction. What category of those two you presented that falls under, I will leave to the listener, but it makes me happy.
We will not
You
be
heard it here
unpacking
first, folks.
the happiness. Yeah, we will be moving on.
Especially if they're non-responsive to me kicking them.
Yeah, no response while you cuff them either.
And I might add a zip ties to their, if I have a zip tie on me, I may zip tie their ankles as well for good measure.
I feel it's probably reasonable that Cal would carry some zip ties, so their ankles are zip tied.
Is there anything on their person? Like, I'm going to fully frisk and investigate.
Sure. Quite notably, no. Not only is the short sword / machete that they had last time you saw them absent, but there isn't so much as an ID or like a credit chip present. It's just chassis, clothes, mask. That's it.
I probably announced to the rest of the group. Well, this is the one that almost killed Lou.
I love that.
Almost.
For the record.
Thought Lou died.
Yeah, he's dead. I look at Burn.
I'm conspicuously blank in the face for a moment, and then it just sort of shuffles over to bored teenager.
At exactly that moment, you hear a sound I'm going to try to approximate with my mouth. Here goes. Boom! And the countenance of the chassis on the ground lights up in like 4 colors of LED, and their whole body sort of like convulses. And then a low hum settles in, indicating that they have reactivated.
Damn, I was considering taking his shirt. This dude's shirt is the one that's like done up in LED.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And pants. All in Lycra.
You should have spoken sooner, Burn, on that front. I nudge him again with my foot.
The response is immediate. The chassis at your feet rolls over backwards into a standing position in a...
With ankles tied?
Yes. It is essentially a rhythmic gymnastics like move. And immediately speaks, saying, "Where did you come from?" in the same sort of speak and spell voice that you remember from your encounter previously.
I pull out the sticky shocker. We're looking for our friend.
I assume that's not me.
You did help me to one goal or another. But that's not who we're actively searching for. Are you in distress?
There is a significant pause, but not quite long enough for anybody else to speak up. And then dropping the speak and spell thing, a very sort of like mid-tone, mid-pitch voice says very casually, "Think I'm fine now. Didn't think we'd meet again like this. How embarrassing."
For you. Yes.
That's what I meant.
We had similar goals. But I'm not sure you're not a threat to those I care about. I have a key.
Key to what?
Your handcuffs.
Oh, there's an experimental tugging at the handcuffs. Didn't notice those at first. Shit, you've got me at quite the disadvantage. Well, who's the friend you're looking for? Maybe I know something, maybe I don't.
According to her apparent disciple, someone taken by a machine god.
Oh shit, you know Apatea!
Yes.
Oh, I love Apatea. Apatea's great.
You know her?
Yeah, no, most of the androids in and around Uhuru are at least aware of her.
Yeah, she sent us what functions as an SOS.
Fuck. Well, I hope she's alright. Unfortunately, the last thing I can remember is 48 hours ago. I have the timestamp and everything. Something or someone fucked with my memory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate that. That's terrible.
What time is it now, Adam?
You've moved fairly quickly today, so let's call it just shy of midday.
What time's the timestamp?
9 a.m.? 9:07 and 32 seconds.
It's like not quite 5 hours after, but
shit. Fuck.
Have you ever encountered a dreamer?
A what now?
A dreamer.
A dreamer.
No, I heard you. I don't know what that means.
A machine god.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess if you count, you're probably not asking about my escapades, though. Shit. Sometimes organics speak just around the point. Have you seen my sword? Anyway, I don't think I've encountered something like that, at least that I can remember, which fucking sucks because I can't remember the last few hours.
Yeah, they appear to be able to interface with at least electric systems and information systems and neural connected augments in the case of the one that we're looking for. I don't know the degree to which they can interface with parts such as yours.
There's like a 2-second pause, and then the android in front of me goes, "Sorry, wait, I have trouble with organics sometimes. How old are you?"
That's neither here nor there.
23.
Okay, sure.
What's your name?
Ooh, what a fun question.
Oh yeah, the most fun question.
I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
Call me Matchstick.
Ooh, I like that.
I'm the revenant that finished your sloppy work.
Oh, I think I like you guys.
We're likable.
Yeah, so am I.
Barely.
In fact, that's what you can call me, likable. Nice to meet you.
Hecate, pleasure. Here's the thing. If you encountered what we think you encountered, I know you don't remember the last few hours, but I'm sure you remember who you are before that. You may want to be alert for any deeper changes to
It
cognition.
appears to be able to suborn volition.
Fuck. Likable sort of cocks their head, seeming to consider, and says, "Well, I guess I wouldn't know for sure, but as far as I can tell right now, all it did was just render me unconscious. Maybe it was in a hurry, or maybe I just can't tell what it fucked with."
Did someone send you after Lou?
Oh, absolutely. I don't work for free.
Who?
Well, that would be telling, wouldn't it? If I want a job in the future, I can't really tell you that right now.
What if you want the key to your handcuffs?
Oh, Likable looks sort of over their left shoulder, over their right shoulder, and goes, "Oh, I don't think that'll be necessary." And they just pull the chain on the handcuffs apart. The cuffs themselves are still fastened around each of their wrists, but the chain has separated.
Fashionable.
And now you've got jewelry.
Interesting choice.
Honestly, as accessories go, these are pretty badass. Do you want them back?
No, they're useless to me now.
Fuck yeah.
We have similar goals. Would you help us?
Oh, what an interesting question. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I mean, what do you need from me? Jangles the loose chains on the handcuffs around their wrists.
We want to find Apatea, and I want to know that you won't hurt my friends.
Well, I don't hurt anybody unless I'm being paid, so at the moment, you're totally safe. And you're looking for Apatea. I mean, I only really met her the once, but whoo, that was a really memorable night. I haven't seen her, though. She come this way?
She was taken.
I suspect that she may have been by at around the time you were incapacitated.
Damn. All right. Well, I mean, if you're coming from that way, then presumably she went this way, who jerks their thumb over their shoulder. So, I mean, let's get going.
Yeah. Here's your mask back.
Thanks. Clicks the mask back on, and then the sort of speak and spell voice is back as they say, onward, and troop down the hallway. Ing?
So just briefly filling in some of the silence and backing up. So Ing, at first, kind of piecing things together, looking back and forth between Cal, first of all, having said that mostly killed Lou Tupper, etc. Kind of recoiling for a moment when it all finally slides into place, and now following silently.
Okay. Good to get on record. So you move as a group, one larger now, down this corridor. Well, corridor-ish, I guess. And after something like 30 seconds, Likable just starts kind of chattering. Not a whole lot super meaningful, but I remember the first time that I came down into the basements. It was actually not to hide, if you can believe it. It was to find a safe place to do digital drugs. If you guys haven't had a chance, you should really try it out. They're trippy. But I've been down here a lot since, and just kind of continues a little bit of a patter as you walk.
Any chance those digital drugs could be given to, say, drones, IMX surveillance drones?
This brings Likable up a little short, and while they don't stop walking, they do sort of like tap a metal finger on a metal chin with a ping, ping, ping sound, considering an answer. I haven't had a whole lot of up-close experience with those IMX drones, but maybe. I don't really know what their whole deal is, but at the very least, the club chips could introduce some, shall we say, unaccounted for variables into the mix. It'd be worth a try. If you ever get a hold of one, like in isolation, I'd be really interested to experiment.
It'd be easy.
Well, I think that you and I then have a lot to look forward to in our working relationship.
I wouldn't be so fast to call it that. You did in however long it took you, something I'd been working for years.
There's a lot to be said for audacity. It'll get you a long way.
I have to be subtle.
Everybody thinks that at first, but turns out you don't have to be. You just feel like you have to be.
No, I'm mostly organic.
1, squishy. 2, working within systems.
Pity on both counts, but,
One of these is fixable, it's true.
critical support either way. In the time that it's taken for this conversation to elapse, you've come to kind of another broadening, not nearly as big as the last open chamber that you left, but, more than a corridor in the sort of basement layout, I guess, as it were. And immediately everyone present, whether they've encountered them before or not, in the case of Tama and maybe Likable, will notice that there are leapers sort of, I guess the word that comes to mind is resting in this area. 3 of them kind of scattered about. This sort of brings the whole group up a little short. And it is sort of like a beat while everybody takes it in. The bleepers themselves don't stir. Everyone in this group of the four of you plus Tama and Likable gets a relatively heavily distorted message. We'll get to possible investigations of the source as it comes, but it just says, "You'll want to stop for a moment." And given timing for this session, I think that's where we're going to end right now, and we'll pick up next time with potential for the acceleration of action and events. So, that'll conclude this session of Dice Punks. Thanks for joining us. I hope our players and listeners enjoyed it as much as I did, and that you'll join us again next time. If you're hearing us now, then you probably know where to listen to this, but we can be found almost any place one can listen to podcasts, as well as on the wider web at dicepunks.com and on Tumblr and Blue Sky as at dicepunks. With that, I think we're ready to say farewell, so say goodbye to the kind folks back on Earth, players.
Thanks for listening. Snuggle the homies. Don't assassinate the homies.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Remember to keep your friends close, but your androids synced.
Thanks for listening, folks. And if you're going to restrain someone, make sure that it actually takes.
Well, it's been wonderful to be here with you on Hardwired Island, where defenestration has more severe consequences.
Excellent. And as the poet once said, all grand pronouncements rendered patently absurd by just the gentle prodding of a bemused universe. Beloved listeners, thank you for tuning in. Stick around through the admin stuff for a campus safety briefing. The music in this episode, Augment or Die, is by Emerson, Boatwright, and our very own bookmonger, Drew. Check out their other work at the link in the show notes. Editing and our rad note cover art was done by Joanne, who has appeared on the podcast now and again. Check out her work around the internet, where she goes by Anything Sows. Site design and graphics for DicePunks.com are by The Revenant, Robin. Hardwired Island is by Paul Machevic, Freya Erlingsdottir, and Minerva McJonda. You can find Hardwired Island at etten.itch.io/hardwiredisland. Links to the system and authors can be found on the Punk Grimoire section of our website, dicepunks.com. Thanks so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, that's reward enough on its own, but if you're so inclined, you can help us out by rating and reviewing us wherever you listen to us, telling your friends who you think would like us to give us a listen, and even by heading over to our Patreon at patreon.com/dicepunks. We have fun rewards available to backers, including a patron-only Discord and access to the Dice Peaks after show for episodes 1.1 and following. Regardless, we hope you'll tune in again, and until then, remember, subtlety is for cowards. Greetings, students! This is Sean Howard with your weekly G-Pol campus safety briefing brought to you by your friends at IMX. This week, we encourage you to lock it like it's hot. As in, be sure to lock your dorm rooms and vehicles before leaving. There are so many...
I'm gonna cut it there. Anyone checking to make sure the recording hasn't been tampered with won't go past that train wreck. Burn, you're going to mask my voice, right?
Yes, Cal. That's how OPSEC works.
Okay.
Requests on how you sound?
Well, remember that the Revenant is supposed to be a big, scary guy, so choose a good voice for me. Here goes.
Greetings, students of G-Pol. This is the Revenant, the ghost that haunts the corrupt, the reckoning for rogue security forces bleeding this campus dry. I'm not your hero. I'm just done watching the system use you like collateral.
Burn, cut the crap. This is serious.
Of course it's fucking serious. Batman is the most serious voice I could think of for big, scary guy who hunts the corrupt.
I said that I didn't want to start a movement. I wanted revenge for myself, for all they've taken from me. But this fight found me, and now it's looking for you. You're not being protected, you're being exploited. The surveillance drones are mining your data, watching your every move, and truly useless in terms of actual security. After 3 failed attempts at campus security, it's time to take your campus back. These drones are easily disassembled by...
What was the techno garble that you said earlier, Burn?
Spray paint, or other obscurant on the sensor arrays, flashbangs, EMPs, or other highly illegal devices you probably shouldn't have, or to cause the drone to read the code that you can copy from the image at the following link. Then I read the link.
Spray paint or other obscurant on the sensor arrays, flashbangs, EMPs, or other highly illegal devices you probably shouldn't have, or cause to read the code that you can copy from the image at the following link. If you're not ready to take direct action, you can always submit drone locations anonymously on Ribbit or YapYap. We'll dose them with some codes that will render the drones useless while keeping them flagged as active. They've shouted at you from podiums, told you to trust the system. Now it's your turn to shout back and make them listen. First, we reclaim the campus, then the whole station. They think they are untouchable, beyond accountability, and we will prove them wrong. We're security now. We protect each other, and we're taking back everything they stole. Hello and welcome to